In today's video, I'll show you how to design these beautiful social media icons with a hover effect. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to design these icons for any of your web development projects. So, without wasting any time, let's get started. On the top left, we have the Versus code editor open with the HTML code. On the bottom left, we have the CSS code used to design the social media icons. And on the right side, we'll preview our changes in real time. As you can see, I've already written the necessary code, so let's start with the head section of the HTML. In the head section of our HTML, we have meta tags, link tags, and a title tag. If you already have some basic experience with HTML, you probably know the purpose of meta tags and the title tag. But to design these social media icons, we need to focus on the link tags. The first link tag connects our CSS file, which we use to style this social media section. The second link tag imports the Google font I used for the heading of this section. If you want to use a different font from Google Fonts, simply go to the Google Fonts website, browse for a font you like, and copy the provided link to use in your project. And the third link tag adds Font Awesome icons. This is also known as a CDN link, which stands for Content Delivery Network. To get this CDN link, visit the Font Awesome website, sign up for an account, and generate your CDN link. Alright, below the head tag, we have the body tag. Anything you add inside the body tag will be visible on the website. As you can see, we have an opening body tag and a closing body tag right before the closing HTML tag. Now, if we move to the CSS file, we've added a background gradient at a 45-degree angle. The first color in the gradient is purple, and the second color is dark violet. Then, we set no repeat to prevent the background from repeating. We also used background size cover to ensure the gradient fills the entire screen. As you can see on the right side, we now have a smooth gradient background that covers the full section without any repetition. Next, we have a div tag with the class main container. As you already know, we assign classes to HTML tags so we can style them in our CSS file. Inside this main container div, we have an h1 tag with the class section heading, which we use to give our section a title, like follow us. Now, let's move to the CSS file so I can show you the styles applied to these two elements. First, we used display flex, which is a powerful CSS property that makes it easier to align and distribute elements inside a container. Then, we applied justify content center to center align the flex items inside the main container div. We also added margin to create spacing at the top and bottom of the section, along with flex wrap to ensure our items stay responsive. For the h1 tag, we set its width to 100%, used the font we imported from Google Fonts, and adjusted the font size and color. Now, looking at the preview, you can see that the heading and social media icons are perfectly centered. This is because of Flexbox and the justify content property. Plus there's some nice spacing above and below the section due to the margins we added to the main container div. And here's our centered heading with a clean white color. Alright, now let's talk about the second element inside the main div tag. Right below the h1 tag we have a UL tag with the class social media icon list. This is used to create a list on the website. Inside the UL tag, we have multiple LI tags with the class SM list item. The LI tag is simply used to define each item inside an unordered list. Now inside each LI tag, we have an anchor tag with an URL value of hash. The hash is a placeholder, it means the link doesn't go anywhere for now. You guys can replace it with an actual URL if you want these icons to navigate to a specific page. Within the anchor tag, we have an I tag with different classes. The I tag is used to render font awesome icons. For example, the classes FA and FA Facebook will display the Facebook icon. Similarly, we have multiple LI elements, each containing an anchor tag and an I tag with different font awesome classes to render various social media icons. The structure is the same for each, only the icon class changes to match the platform. Alright, now let's move to the CSS file to see how we styled our social media icons list. For the UL tag with the class social media icon list, we set padding to 0. This helps remove any extra space around the element. We also set list style to none to remove the default bullet points that come with HTML lists. If you look at the preview, you'll notice that the list items no longer have any bullet points. This is because we set list style property to none. Now, let's check out the CSS design for each LI item. First, we set display inline block. By default list items appear in a vertical stack, one below the other. but using inline block allows them to sit next to each other, creating a horizontal list. If you look at the preview, you'll see the icons are now aligned in a row instead of stacking on top of each other. Next, we added 10px margin to create spacing between each list item. We also defined position and font size properties to further control the layout. Now, let's see the style of the anchor tag. We set its display to inline block. This ensures the entire link behaves like a block while still flowing inline with other elements, making it easier to apply padding, width, and height. For the I tag, we set the icon color to deep teal. Then we applied position absolute along with top and left properties to precisely position the icons. Then, we added the transition property with the value, all 265 milliseconds ease out. This controls how animations behave, making interactions feel smooth. In this case, when you hover over any social media icon, you'll notice a nice fluid transition. That effect is happening because of the transition property and the values we set. Alright, next we have before pseudo-element for the anchor tag that lets us insert extra content before an element, without adding extra HTML. We set its width and height to 60px, making it a perfect square. Then, we applied the transform property with a scale of 1, along with border radius to smooth out the corners. We also set display to block, and for the background, we used a gradient at 45 degrees with mint green and soft yellow. Of course, we also added a transition property to ensure smooth animations. Next, we used the after pseudo element to add an image effect for the hover state. By default, we set its transform to scale 0 so it remains hidden until hovered over. Then, we applied hover effects to both before and after pseudo elements using transform and transition, making sure everything animates seamlessly. Lastly, for the I tag, we created a hover effect where the icon color changes when you hover over it. We also used WebKit background clip property and set the value to text, which allows the gradient to apply only to the text, and WebKit text fill color property to transparent, which makes the text take on the gradient effect. And that's it, you've successfully created a social media section with a smooth hover effect. If you guys want the source code, just drop a comment below, and we'll add it to our website. Thanks for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more awesome web development tutorials. See you in the next video.